Hey, what's going on YouTube? Today I'm going to show you something a little bit different. This is going to be a build guide slash showcase on a build that has been several leagues in the making that wasn't actually exactly possible until last league. And a couple of reasons why, and I'll tell you why it's sadly not the same and you won't be able to do it anymore. So, first things first, we're going to go on to a very, very old iShot build that my very first one I created, Rainbow. I only ever got it to 91. This was in the Delirium League? No, I'm sorry, Blight League at the very end, about last month of it, and I grinded out as much as I can to get it as high as I can. And I basically was just learning the build and learning how to do it, and how far I've come from then till now is insane. I started trying with the dex-stack bow. I actually had a old legacy multi-modded dex-stack bow at one point that I decided to sell at one point because it was just multi-modded and I had other ones that I could just buy, sell, trade, or whatever. So we're going to go ahead and show you a little bit about what I did with this build and why I spent so many leagues trying to perfect it. And not really so many. It was mainly perfected in one league, in standard and league, with all my currency that I had at the time. Now, if you've peeked at my last videos, you'll see obviously I've sold things and I have the currency now, but that's different. So we're going to go ahead and go over my build. So as you see, we're running 5 synthesized pieces. 5 of them. So let's go ahead and go over my character spreadsheet. We are level 91. We have a total of 2,607 dexterity. We have 2,800 life. We can use Garukan flights and have more. We can also use instead of the belt we have, we can use the, what do you call it? The one from Elder, Cyclopean Coil, which we have corrupted with the proper thing. Fortunately, it doesn't have an enchant, and we are going to get a boot and, oh, not sorry, a glove enchant here and a belt enchant here to finish off the build. But we have pretty much everything we need all in one right here. And with 2,600 dex, you might be wondering what my tooltip is like. We're sitting at, without any flasks popped, without any inspiration charges, 320,000. How much is this realistically? Well, this is using a Mirage Archer. So Mirage Archer doesn't necessarily have a damage decrease, but it doesn't have an increase either. It just has the ability to have extra U on top of you floating around. As you see, our crit chance is horrid at only 36.41. It's not very good. If we pop everything, we get our inspiration charges, we actually jump up to 52.41, which is decent. Unfortunately, the Diamond Flash doesn't make it lucky anymore, so it's just a 50-50 chance, and as you saw, my tooltip skyrocketed up. So let's go ahead and go over the gear. First things first is a Harvest Crafted Legacy dex-stacked double damage, dex-stacking double damage Thicket Bow. As you see, it's item level 77. Unfortunately, this is how I got it a long time ago. It was multi-modded, and I removed the multi-mod, and a very good friend of mine had crafted this for me from scratch in that league. We actually AUG influenced. I believe we blocked the suffixes because we didn't want anything else in the suffixes that was good. We AUG influenced twice. We wanted to try and hit socketed attacks. We found out, I believe, that it's too low. Instead, we hit cast on crit and frenzy charge on kill, which in my opinion is still amazing. We still have the 3 to 5 cold damage per dex, and we have the Legacy 12% attack speed double damage for a whopping 30% chance to deal double damage, and he even rolled it for me to hit T1 multi. So we don't have an enchant on it. I could put an enchant on it, but I don't want to because I like it clean. This is looks really amazing to me clean. It's going to stay that way. I could also white socket it, but it's whatever. So in our bow, we have Hydrosphere, Bone Chill support, Creeping Frost, and we are doing this because if you read right here, Bone Chill support, says enemies in chilling areas from supported skills increase cold damage. Sorry, enemies in chilling areas from supported skills increase cold damage taken by chill effect. So basically, with this and this, and then this also gives me chill effect on chill, or sorry, increase effect of chill on enemies, 45% increased with creeping frost. Enemies will be taking a lot of extra damage, and we're casting this with cast on crit. All of this: Blood Rage, Sniper's Mark, Hydrosphere, Bone Chill. Now, because we are casting it with cast on crit, we have, we have to leave a little bit of mana open. As you see, we are not really struggling, but we'll get into why that is in a second. So then we have a Legacy dex-stacking ring. This is no longer available. You are no longer able to do dex plus dex anymore. That's impossible. They literally made that change this league. Now this one I kept the way it was because it has tier 2 flat mana, and I wanted extra mana so I could be doing a little bit more in my build. As you see, we have 6% dex and 6% int. This is a crazy ring, but I just wanted the dex because that's what I built, dex stack. We do have a wild wrap, no corruption on it, nothing crazy. It's a pretty decent armor. Our evasion isn't that great. We do have a 43% natural chance to evade attacks. I believe a lot of it's coming from dex. But let me see, I don't think we have any evasion flasks, right? So we just have damage flasks. But if we put on an evasion flask, it'd be a little bit different. We only have 3% physical damage reduction, but we'll go into our helmet. Our helmet was made on a item level 69 base, so that's why our roll is a tier 3. It's the only synthesized helmet I could find, unfortunately, with dex. We have eye shot damage enchant on it, thankfully, and this was made in roughly 3 or 4 days with a lot of currency. We hit dex, then we hit fire res. We got lucky and hit strength dex for the double dex on it. Now you can hit triple dex on it, but it's extremely rare, so I decided to opt for the double dex with a res or double dex with another mod on each piece. Plus I felt like most dex stacking builds only get to about 1500, 1600, maybe even 2000, and they're good. I felt like I would be just going too ham if I had triple dex on everything. Like, the frenzy charge on kill here is really good because that means I have a 4 plus, what is that, 4, that's 8% chance. That's really good. Right here, if you look, we have fire and chaos res, which helps us cap our fire res very easily. Right here we have a double dex stacking amulet. This amulet is level 71, so we couldn't hit tier 1 again. We have tier 3 cold res, we have dex strength dex, then we have area damage, area of effect, life, and projectile speed, projectile damage. And we can do minus cost on this. Keep this in mind, so we can basically cast our skills for free. Now, because it says non-challenging skills, that means these also cost less. So when I look at this, you see this is 19 mana. Well, 7 here and 7 here is 14. That means when I cast on crit, these cost a lot less. So, but I don't need them to cost 0 necessarily. I can make them cost 0, but I don't need them to cost 0 because I have so much mana leech with all the just massive damage I'm doing. I have a Hiri's Demise with point blank on it. This is actually something I hit myself a while ago. It's really good rolled. If you can't tell, it has 30 attributes, 10 attack speed, and point blank. We have a synthesized boots with 5% dex, and then we rolled again item level 69. We end up getting the 30-12 movement speed up top. We have a little bit of rarity. We figured that's fine. We enchanted it with movement speed. Crafted cannot be frozen. Hit the tier 3 res like before because it's a low item level. And dex double dex. And then our gloves are not double dex stacking, but they are double T1 res with 60 dex, the actual natural 60 dex, not the essence dex, with a tier 2 life roll, a socketed AoE, and a little bit more life and evasion on top, just because. Now we could put damage while leeching, damage while this, anything like that for even more damage, but it's kind of necessary, so we just opted in for more life. I will say the alternative to this would be I would have to put on Garquin Flights. If I did this, I would have to find resistances in my tree somewhere, and that's not easy. So let's go ahead and go to our tree. So in our tree, we have the standard, like, standard build. We're going pathing up here like we normally do, so we can take the most for our our split personalities. If we go over here, we have a 5 passive voices. Now you can upgrade this with a 3-point, but I'm only level 91, so I don't need to. And with this, we have a dexterity lightning res. It's, I believe, tier 3 dexterity lightning res cluster jewel, which is giving me the lightning res I need currently to overcap, and that's kind of helping. We have a Devastator, Cold to the Core, and Dark Discourse Megalomaniac here. Devastator is giving us Explode, which is absolutely insane. It's only 15% chance, but with the Herald of Ice explosions, it can chain, and it feels nice when it does. Cold to the Core gives us 1% cold damage per 25 dex, strength, and int. If you can't tell, we have 342 strength, 228 int, and 2600 dex. Just off the strength and intelligence, we have 550. We'll just say 550. 55 divided by, let's see, 25 goes into 52, so see, that's a lot. Let's say 12% cold damage just off of that, and that's not including the dex. 12% overall cold damage, and that's from one of these notables, and we have 2. We actually have 3 cold to the cores, but we figured 2 is enough because, yeah. This one has attack speed cold res, so our cold res is capped a little bit easier, and a prismatic heart, so we again capped a little easier with elemental damage and cold to the core. We have the dodge nodes that we normally take. We are using a very, very overpowered brutal restraint. This is taking every single node I could use, literally everything here I can use. We have blind enemies on attack with 5% dex, then these give 4 dex. We have pen with 5% dex, and these give 4 dex. We have 10 dex, crit chance, movement speed, attack damage with 5% dex, and these give 4 and 2 dex. We have elemental damage, and obviously the life nodes is normally 4 dex. We have more cold res to finish our cold res capping, and these give 4 dex, and this is just to fully convert. Every single node in our tree is useful for us. So it's 5% here, 5% here. The 25% chance to, 25% chance to gain alchemical genius when you use a flask, and alchemical genius. If you read it right there, max alchemical genius increases flash charges gained by 20%, and the effect of increases the effect of flasks by 10% for 4 seconds. Pretty good, considering like just when I use a flask I can gain that. So it's really freaking strong. And then there's 5 here, 5 here. That's 5, 10, 15. 20 flat dex here with 4/4, and with our crit. 20 here. That's 20. That's 20%. 20 elemental damage. 20 flat. Alchemical genius, and we have cold res to finish capping. We are taking the notables down here for 8% dex, dex, dex. We have all these for the crit chance, crit multi to finish getting our crit. We are definitely taking a second voices. This is another 5 passive. This is containing our Watcher's Eye, which has life gain on hit, vitality, and hatred. Now, I will say that if I decided to go 0 mana cost, I could definitely use the vitality, but as of now, I'm not using it just because I wanted to test a few things. We are using 2 split personalities with Dex, Int, and Strength Dex, and we chose the stats over the life because the stats, every 25 stat gives me 1% cold damage, and these are each almost 50. We can actually push it to 50 if we get the rest of our levels in, or at least 5 more levels. We can push another cluster here, and the next cluster would probably be something like a medium with crit chance that has just no notables but dexterity rolled on it, just so I can kind of push dex even further. That would be insane for my build if I got the 4 levels and did that. But as you can see, we basically pushed as much dexterity as possible. We are taking all of the dex nodes up here. So we have 20 dexterity here. We have 10 dexterity here. This is just life, and then up here is 10 dexterity here. Crit chance, crit multi. More life here, pathing down here. We have every single node in this little area is giving us dex, which is insane. These unfortunately don't do a whole lot for me, so we're not even bothering with those, but they're not even that good anyway. I looked here, that's just evasion rating, and that's minion movement speed, so there's just whatever. But yeah, without further ado, this has been my legacy deck stacking video. I hope you guys did enjoy my video. I will be glad to post a more in-depth guide to, you know, what it's like to use this if you guys are interested or if you want to see it in action. For now, just for the kicks, I'm going to craft minus on my amulet. Non-channeling -7, perfect. And then boom, and then there you go. That's what it looks like. We have 0 mana available, but we have 0 mana cost on our Ice Shot, 0 mana cost on our Flame Dash, 0 mana cost on our thingamajiggy here. I think Blood Rage is triggered. I don't remember how I do Blood Rage. Oh, Blood Rage is triggered, so we actually can just take this off. And we only have 1 Ice Shot set up. This is just for our mapping. And obviously, because we have 0 mana cost on Ice Shot, what we can do from here is we can kind of, you know, just scale attack speed as high as possible. I'm not going to do it, unfortunately, anytime soon, because as is, I have spent a lot of time trying to build this build up, and I'm really enjoying where it's at, so I'm just going to keep it the way it is. One thing I will say is if you have no mana cost, you don't get inspiration charges. That's something you got to think about. So if I'm not getting inspiration charges, I'm not getting crit chance or elemental damage. So what I'll probably do is drop this for the zero mana cost setup. But we'll see. As it sits, I am more than happy to just kind of leave the build here and come back to it. If you guys want to see it in action, I'm more than willing to do that. If you want to see me do anything with it, I can show you content with it. It's just going to be like any of my other Ice Shot builds that are insanely expensive. I'm going to delete the content, and you're going to know what you see. But yeah, without further ado, this has been Chaos-Reighn. I do appreciate you guys joining me for yet another video. If you stuck around to the end, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, click that little bell in the corner so you are notified every time you get my videos. And if you have any questions on how I built this build, on how I crafted it, I can kind of show you. Unfortunately, I can't show you exactly because they have removed the ability to craft it, but I can show you what it used to be like, kind of, just to a point, and give you an example of what it takes, because you can still kind of do it, just not exactly. If you guys have any kind of advice, any kind of input, any kind of anything like that, I am more than willing to listen. I have no reason not to at this point. I'm enjoying my, I'm enjoying my character, enjoying my league, enjoying everything like that. So as far as I'm concerned, I am more than willing to take any advice, any kind of help you guys are willing to give me, and or if you just want to say hi and say, hey, what's up? I like your build, whatever, you're more than welcome to do that. If you have any requests, I will do my very best to show you them. If you have any specific things, such as like if you remember my BLS Hateforge Raider, it still works. Or sorry, Hateforge. What do you call it? Lightning Strike, Hateforge, Pathfinder? Yeah, sorry, I only ever made one Pathfinder, so I was like couldn't even think about it. But yeah, I'll totally get on it and I'll show you exactly what it does. Still works, still laggy, still does Hateforge things. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment. Like always, take it easy, everybody.